Just to let you know, this is a 360 presentation, and if you want to watch it, you need to have a tablet or a phone where you can put your finger down on the screen and scroll the image around so you can see 360 degrees. If you're using a PC or a Mac, point at the screen, click and hold the mouse button and move the screen around, and you'll be able to look left, right, up, down in 360 VR. If you don't like this sort of thing, there is a normal edition of this video which will be in the links in the descriptions below. So I don't think I've been recording. So across to my microphone in the house now, and we'll go to the music mix as we've done before because of the problems with the audio. So yeah, this is an interesting little building which can be found just up from the Salisbury Vedette. And these vedettes are the little buildings which are like sentry posts to stop people coming onto the Salisbury Plain. And they often have either a gate and a flag which will stop people going on if there's active training happening on that day. So now we're heading south on the road down towards the A36, which goes from Nook Camp to Warminster. Now that good concrete road you can see there is a modernisation of some of the Salisbury Plain training area roads, and this tarmac is an old road which leads up to this area, but there's been a lot of modernisation of the gravel tracks to be capable of taking more traffic at these junction points often, and the junctions were where things were getting so muddy that you couldn't get vehicles in and out, so they've concreted a lot of these crossroads and whatnot with concrete. So as we're heading out of the Salisbury Plain area, then we've got a farm, and you still are on the Salisbury Plain. That's the funny thing about the Salisbury Plain. When you think you see a farm, you think, well, okay, there can't be much going on because there's farm buildings and cows and sheep, and you know, it looks kind of like a place where you wouldn't have weapons and people training. However, as you're going to see in a minute, there's guys with guns actually training in the field. Now, I dare say they're not going to be shooting those guns, but they are actually using areas which are off the main part of the Salisbury Plain. So as we go around this corner, you can see on the right hand side in the field there's about maybe 20 or so soldiers up there where I'm pointing to now, and they've all got guns and they're all just hanging around in a field, so obviously some sort of training. And then as we come up to this corner, we've got more in the field there on the right hand side. So guys with guns, and you'll see how close they are now to the main road. So literally that field is probably only maybe 1,000 feet, a couple of thousand feet from the road. If you go over the hill and then you pop out onto the A36 road here, so you can see, you know, just how close to a major road are people doing that sort of training. So the Salisbury Plain is not exactly where everyone thinks it is, because the plain itself is not necessarily where you'll find troops, so you can find them in all sorts of places. So now we're heading off towards Warminster, and I thought I'd go and give my my friend Steve Wills a visit, as he's working over there in Warminster at the moment, so I paid him a visit. And these are the bypass roads which go all the way around Warminster, so they save quite a bit of time as they're good quality roads. So I just needed to check out, see if my camera stuff was working, whether it looked like it was still recording and doing things. So I just pulled up for a minute just to have a look. Here we are, ready to go again. And now we're heading in to Warminster, and we've got the hills which you can see on the right hand side. They're all the delineation point really for the Salisbury Plain. Anything that's kind of on the hill or behind the hill would be considered training areas, although the whole of some of these areas might be military owned and allowed out for use by farmers. But generally everything tends to stay on the back side of those hills, so you don't tend to see people right up to the edge of the roads, tanks on the edge of the roads. It tends to be sort of up over the hills. One of the things you do notice about the Salisbury Plain training area is you can see there's no real fences in a lot of these places in Wiltshire. You can come straight off the road, straight into these fields, and it doesn't seem to be sort of fences in the way that you have in a lot of other places, you know, to stop people just walking across the fields. Somebody's got a house there, they've got a wall, but then it can just as easily go back to being, you know, you can walk straight across the fields. As we're coming into Warminster now, it is starting to become walled off, fenced off, you know, but it's one of the things about the Salisbury Plain is it's very open for you to get on and off it in so many places. edge of Warminster. And if you take a right, which I'm not going to do, along there, that would take you onto one of the military bases. So that's one of the entranceways to the military base. We're getting close to the Esso garage in a minute, where I'm going to go and get some fuel. The prices of fuel in this garage and in general, you know, around Warminster and Salisbury, the prices of fuel is just a joke. These fuel prices here are as high as you'd pay in motorway service stations. So clearly something is not going right with the people who own this this petrol station. I think they're laying it on a bit thick. Really ridiculous prices. Right, so let's zip on. So there's a little view of the bike, which I don't have many shots of because I didn't want to show the number plate. But yeah, another weird thing about this spa is that it doesn't sell alcohol, and it's like a lot of places in Warminster, they don't sell alcohol 24/7. So you have to go elsewhere to get alcohol. I don't know whether they just don't want alcohol being sold 24/7 in Warminster because it's a military town, and they just figure that if squaddies can get access to booze, they might be getting drunk. I don't know what the real reason is, but there's certainly a lack of ability to get alcohol late night in Warminster. So back on our way now. We're very close to the centre of Warminster, so you'll see the main shopping street. There on the right, just about now, is the Wetherspoons. Oh no, there it is. That's the Wetherspoons on the right. The Bath Arms. That's basically the main shopping street. There's not much more in Warminster, that was it. It's quite a small town really. And just up on the left here, there's a new building site, so that's where my friend Steve is working, so he popped up and said hello for a couple of seconds. So here he is, Mr. Steve Wills, doing his work thing. So, but I couldn't keep him waiting, as he was obviously at work. So nice of him to pop up and say hello for a minute. But time to get back on and see what's going on the Salisbury Plain. So one of Steve's favourite haunts that he showed me over the years is the place where UFOs used to be spotted from, and a guy called Arthur Shuttlewood, who's written a number of books on UFOs, he used to hang around on top of this hill. I think it's called Cradle Hill, and you go up this road which also backs you onto the military base, which is kind of, you know, a massive area around the back of Warminster. So you've got a golf course which is up on your left, which we'll see in a little bit. I just need to sort the bike out again, so quite a few times we've had sky watches where people have come from all over the country and gone up the hill and spent time to kind of commemorate all of the many years of the UFO sky watching that's been going on in the area. And if anybody doesn't know about Warminster, it has a rich UFO past, as it was home to a UFO that got dubbed The Thing. And The Thing was spotted all around Warminster, along with some unusual sounds and, I believe, electrical activity, power surges and various things. But the favoured place to see the UFOs is up on the left-hand side, that hill with the trees, just off the front left, at about 10 o'clock off the nose of the bike. Here's where people often walk their dogs. They park the cars up here, just on the back of the base. The base gates are on the right hand side now. And then we take a ride up the trackway. So once we're safely past these doggies, go for a little rip up the top. There's various ways you can get up there, but I just wanted to show that this is the route that most people walk. So anyone who's been to this place and has gone up on the hills to do a sky watch, this is the path they'll come up. But there's a few ways you can get to this from the top, so there are, you know, unrestricted byways that are up here. But people would congregate around this this barn, and I think people have even said they've seen aliens here at the barn. I think there's been some sort of talk about some weird stuff like that. Now, there often used to be graffiti which was sprayed onto the barn, but weathering has just burnt off the paint the paint is not there for you to see all the writing and alien symbolism that was daubed on that barn. Nothing to be seen now. So after just sorting out my electronics and cameras, we're on our way again. Very slippy there with the mud. So this is kind of a high spot above Warminster, and again backing onto some of these Salisbury Plain training areas. Once you get to the end of this field, you will see a sign telling you, which way to go, because beyond this point would then be the Salisbury Plain. So to the left and to the right are the byways, but if we carried on going straight over, we would be then onto the Salisbury Plain. And hence why we have a flag post, which is not flying a flag. So this would lead a person to believe that it would be okay to go up that part of the plane. So it seems like the western side of the plane today is no flags and you're okay to go up. But then down the road, just a short distance, you have a flag. So you can see how easy it would be for me if I was to cross at that point and keep going onto the plane. I would think I had no problem because there was no flag at the point where I crossed. So it just goes to show how easily you can make mistakes when you go onto the Salisbury Plain. You think, oh, no flag, I'm fine. And it's just because they've been a bit lazy perhaps and only stuck up flags at key points, where lots of cars, lots of people might come. But they don't stick up the flags in all the places sometimes, and this could lead to a person like myself going onto the plane and getting to an area where I wasn't meant to be because of live firing. So we've come back on ourselves now. Because I saw that flag, I obviously wasn't going to go up onto the plane, so we've come back round now, and we're heading back towards Warminster, and I'm going to have to skirt around these parts of the plane because it's just not worth taking a chance really if the red flags are flying. But I am going to go and have a look at the golf course, which will now be on a 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock off the nose of the bike. And it's quite amazing to me that people were actually playing golf up there today, considering how windy it was. It's a very, very windy day. But they were still out there playing their golf. So we're heading up the hill now to the golf course. slowed down a little bit, not to take the mickey too much, because people were up here playing golf, if you can believe it, in this windy weather. I don't need to go as far as the clubhouse, so. Heading back into Warminster now. Effectively the Salisbury Plain, this would be the southwest most corner of the Salisbury Plain. Warminster is in the southwest, and we are kind of beyond the Salisbury Plain at this point. There's nothing really comes down as far as we're riding now as we get back towards the main road. When you go a bit further east, as I pointed out earlier on, the training can get quite close to the road, but generally doesn't tend to come across the hills. So let's head west, out of Warminster. And if we kept going in this direction, we'd eventually end up in Frome. So those hills on the right are basically the end point of the Salisbury Plain. So, and behind me you can see the trees, and just behind those trees would have been a golf course that we looked at earlier on. But if we went left, we'd go down the road a little bit, and then we'd be going towards Frome, but we're going right, and that will take you to Westbury. But we're not going to go as far as Westbury, because we're going to come off and sneak up the very edge of the Salisbury Plain on the track. Perfectly legal to be on that track, because it's not actually on the Salisbury Plain, it's the track that goes all the way around the edge of the Salisbury Plain. Just after this bridge, take a right, and you can see the hills up on the right. So the hill there has the Westbury Quarry, and there is a video on my channel if you want to have a look at it. Check out the Westbury Quarry. I'll try and remember to put the link below, where we go and have a look at the old crushing building for the cement works that used to be there. Part of the cement works was up in the quarry, and the bigger part of the cement works was down in Westbury itself. Very little of that is now left. I'll try and avoid the puddles if I can help it, but that one was a bit awkward. So this is a steep old hill, this one. But if you can get a car through, that bottom bit is very mulchy, and you don't want to stop. Once you start moving, you want to keep moving because you'll get stuck in some of the mud and mulch at the bottom. But if you can get past that bit, and as you can see, it becomes quite a nice little road for a bit. Then it becomes a bit gravelly at the top. But I just need to check the bike, check the helmet. And this is where I actually found out that I hadn't been recording properly with my mic. So now we're going to switch back to me using the mic so that you can actually hear some of my real audio coming as I'm riding. So we'll give that a go.